Hello, buonasera from Rome, Italy. This is Massimiliano Bracale. I'm the founding president of the Swiss School of Management. And if you ask yourself, how come a Swiss school is in Rome, but what is the link and so on? So let me briefly tell you the small story of how it happened. It was about 20 years ago when I started this business. I used to be a formal banker, but I fell in love in business education. I did a small fortune in the past, and I wanted to enter a new business, and I wanted to share my experience I had in the investment world, in the business world. I wanted to share it with the new generations. And in those days, Switzerland was not part of the Schengen Agreement. The Schengen Agreement allows students, foreign students, to cross the borders of 28 countries in the European Union, and without asking for a visa all the time. And in those days, Switzerland was not part of it. So I said, I need to find a place where our students, our graduates, could go for an internship after graduating, and go in these 28 countries. And what better than Italy? Italy, fantastic country, especially Rome, Caput Mundi. Rome is a historical city, and it's just fantastic place. It's a fantastic place to study and live. So this is what brought the Swiss School of Management down to Rome. Of course, we have our head office back in Switzerland, where we hold our accreditation, where we guide our international operations around the world. And this is actually it. This is how it started. Well, today we would talk about our Masters of Business Administration program and the different kind of the MBA we offer here. Together with me, there is Emma Smith, one of our graduate students, and another alumni here is Paul Pop, and I will give them then in a couple of minutes the word to get for you first-hand information about what was their experience at SSM, and how it helped them to develop their career. But I would say, let's move on and let's talk about the MBA program. Well, the Swiss School of Management is associated to INSEC. INSEC is maybe the largest private university, highly accredited university in France, having campuses in the United States, in the UK, and in different parts of the European Union. And our MBA carries all these accreditations, as you see, the associations of MBA, the AMBA, the ICBE, EduQua, the Swiss accreditation for quality education. Then the Swiss School of Management is also accredited by the Department of Veteran Affairs of United States. So we have many of those students coming to study with a GI Bill from the American military at our school. Then we are, of course, an UNESCO accredited school. And in America, we are also CHIA accredited. So this is what carries the MBA degree that you will get from the Swiss School of Management. Let's go deeper into details. So how does it work? How is the program structured? So we have 12 core courses, which you can see listed here. It all starts with the course of Leadership 360 Degrees, where it starts in September. I will be teaching that course myself. And it is a life-changing course because we will break down all those diminishing walls, diminishing in the idea that you can reach your fullest potential. We go deep into the matter about who you are, what you could become, and what are your dreams. So we will break down all these diminishing walls to start from scratch again. So there are courses like globalization, accounting, financial management, which is very important. And our professor is a Wall Street guy, so he knows what he's talking about. Then, of course, international law and ethics, global macroeconomics and international finance, security and business, cybersecurity. It's a very hot topic, especially if you're interested into social media. Very, very interesting. Then we do negotiating. We do a negotiation course. You will learn how to get an increase in salary. What are the topics, how to negotiate a first salary, how to negotiate or how to sort out problems. This is all in this negotiation class. It's not only acquiring knowledge, it's about practicing. We apply whatever we read in the book. There is the first part of every class where we go into the theory, and then the second part is let's put it into application. So most of our programs, or better, most of our classes are based on group works through a professional PowerPoint presentation. That's why you will have to present every time you come to school. There is no other way. This will help you in acquiring and better your presentation skills and public speaking skills, which is important nowadays. It's so important if you want to or you aim to an international career. Then we have competitive strategy course, investment management, and marketing and research. Those are the 12 courses, core courses that everybody has to go through. After that, you can decide to go for a specialization. The main specialization that gets chosen by candidates is our strongest one, which is an MBA in global management and leadership. It's a life-changing experience because we do lots of exercises. We go through best-selling books on leadership, and this is actually what the companies today are looking for. Then the next specialization will be finance for all those people that wants to go into finance, banking, and analysis. Then entrepreneurship, very important nowadays. You can still have a job, but next to it you can start building your own business, because only the sky's the limit when you have your own business. Our school has actually that particular touch on leadership and entrepreneurship. Doesn't matter if you work for somebody or not, but you need to be an entrepreneur inside of yourself. I am an entrepreneur, and I had to learn a lot. If you think an entrepreneur has to invest 80% of his time in psychology, being psychologically ready to start a business, rather than having only 20% of technical skills. Then we have an MBA in human resource. Those are under the 3 courses. Then luxury management. This is a very hot topic nowadays. Then marketing. Then non-for-profit organizations and project management. In total, those are 15 subjects that we pack into 1 year. Okay. Another great thing about this program is that it's built modularly. That means you start 1 course and you finish it at the end of the month and you do your final exam. And that's it. You don't need to wait 3 months or at the end of a semester to do all the exams together. That doesn't make sense. This is old-fashioned school. So this program has been actually developed for executive students who have already a job, and they don't have too much time to waste because they have family and other things in life. So we want to make it as easy as possible for them to study. Good. What are the admissions requirements? Of course, for an MBA program, you need to have a bachelor degree or something similar like this. You need to have a sound command of English. We don't put barriers on that, but you need to pass an interview. We will interview all our students. It's very important. We want to also ask them about what they think if they are leaders, what they would like to become. We like hungry students. We like them a lot. We like students that are ambitious, that have dreams. We start with that. We start with that. We want these people to dream because we want to help them coming this dream to make these dreams come true. Good. What else? The cost of the program. I cut it very short because your time is precious as mine. After an application fee of 200 euros, there are uh, 4 other installments totaling 13,900 euros for the entire program. Of course, if students want to have, a monthly rate payment, we can always discuss this. No problem at all. Regarding the application procedures, very easy. You can see it here on the screen. You don't need to send anything in paper format. You can just email. Download the application form from our website. It's very, very, very easy, and then send it by email. Don't forget that the application form is a Word document, and we want it back as a Word document. You need to add your bachelor academic transcript and a digital picture of yours. And we expect a recommendation letter. A recommendation letter, a letter from a former employer or a former faculty member. We want to hear a second voice about you. Okay? And then we do a final interview, and then you're all set to start. Another great thing about our program is it's open all year long. We do monthly intakes from September to April. You can start every month. This will allow you to be as flexible as we are, and it will allow us to have, let's say, a turnover of students. And so we have senior and freshers coming in kind of together. This is the kind of experience we're going to have. I would say at this point, I would pass the word to Paul Pop. This is one of our alumni that I have the pleasure to have just next to me. Paul, hello.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul. So, my experience in SSM, what I learned, especially the most in the leadership part, is that you don't necessarily need motivation, you need discipline. Discipline helped me a lot because I already had some businesses before joining the school. That's why I joined, because I needed leadership skills. I was having problem with my employees, with my day-to-day activities. And it helped me understand my employees, negotiate with them, talk to them, lead them, not manage them. Because managing usually has bad returns.
Yep.
What I learned a lot in leadership skills, in entrepreneurship, how to write your own business model. Because I started it by ear and I had some problems, and going back, writing the business model, setting up a plan for etapization, one point to another.
Mm-hmm.
It was exceptional. My employment rate got higher. My return on investment got higher. I had a lot of benefits from it.
Really?
Also, the friendships I tied here during the MBA. That's one of the top things I had, is because all of us were international students.
Yeah.
We were outsiders in Rome, in Italy, and it was very easy to become friends, hang out together. Even now, after 1.5, 2 years, we still talk on the phone regularly. Even now, here that I'm in Rome, they will come here to visit me and to visit the school again.
Fantastic. What do you recall? Were there any important moments during your studies at SSM?
All of them. Again, one of the most important ones, the leadership day.
Oh, the leadership day.
That's when you took 20 or 30. We were people that never knew each other before that.
Mm-hmm.
We're all very wary of each other, because who is he? Where is he from? Why should I be friends with him? And you forced us to, no, not forced. You put us in a situation where we had to rely on one another. Like, you have to rely in a business on your colleagues, on your managers, on your the subaltern,
Yeah.
the people under you.
Yeah.
That was one of the most impactful day in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the professors were exceptional. The professor for finance, he taught me more about finance in a month that I knew in a lifetime. And I studied law, I studied financial law, and still I had more to learn about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was an exceptional year.
Why did you choose the Swiss School of Management MBA? I guess you did your research, and there are bigger names actually in the market. How come?
So there were many factors.
Yeah.
One was the flexibility factor, because that was extremely important for me, because I don't have time every day to stay 1 year in Rome. It permitted me to go back, and it also permitted me to work during the classes. There was the country factor, because I visited other countries for their MBAs, some more prestigious schools. One, the cost of living was higher, the weather was worse, and I fell in love with Rome when I first saw it. And also because I had the opportunity to see the classes before joining, it made me want to join even harder. The classes weren't with a lot of people, so there was more in-depth and more personalized, tailored experience. So it was not like in not private, like in public universities, when there are 100 students and the professor says, for example, I heard this from a friend from arts, like, I can't teach you all arts. Go through Rome, visit Rome, and then you'll see. No, it was personal. Every time I had a problem, every professor answered me in maximum 1 hour, 2 hours. They would answer the phone during the night, even when I was needed some business advice. They would answer and bounce back ideas with me.
How is it to live in Rome, actually?
If you have time to live in Rome, and it's exceptional. Even after 1 year, there are still things I discover. I'm always going. I've been to the Museo Vaticani 7 times now, because I'm in love with the art, with the architecture, with the history of it. Everywhere you go, in every corner, you will find a piece of history of an ancient empire, of recent history, anything.
And what's the cost of living in Rome? What do you think?
So I'm from Romania, so it's higher than where I'm from. But I've been to Switzerland to see about university. I've been to Great Britain, and I'm sorry, but here it's Chile. It's
competitive.
It's competitive.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you very much, Paul.
My pleasure.
That was really helpful. Maybe if then some participants have direct questions to Paul, he's just next to me. Okay.
I'm happy to answer.
Now I would ask Emma to join us. Emma, are you there? Emma?
Hello. Hi.
Hello, Emma. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Massimo?
Having a good time here. Having a good time. We are quite a crowd here. Good, Emma. So, where are you from originally?
So yeah, I'll give a little background about myself.
Yes.
I am originally from Seattle, Washington, in the United States. I'm on the West Coast. I've been living in Rome for the past 3 years about, and I just graduated from SSM in September, so last year. And yeah, it's been a phenomenal experience for me. I actually was already living in Rome when I enrolled in this program. I had studied Italian for my bachelor's degree. I came over to do an internship, and through my internship, I met some students at SSM. So I had heard about the program. I was more in contact with some of the BBA students, but through those BBA students, I became friends with a lot of master's students. And basically, at the end of my internship, I spoke with Massimo, and he said, "Why don't you think about doing the MBA program? It seems like a perfect next step in kind of the direction that you're trying to go." And at the time, I wasn't super positive with what I wanted to do. Kind of like everything in my life just kind of falls into place naturally. So didn't really have any plans, and I was a little stressed about that because I didn't know really what the next step for me was. So after considering it and speaking with Massimo, I thought, yeah, that actually is the perfect step for me to take to find the path that I want to do, the career that I want to take on for the next few years, and just experience different aspects of business, which I didn't have any experience in, but through these courses, I was able to discover that this is basically the perfect place that I should be. The perfect thing that I should be doing is working in business, and specifically a leadership position.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, Massimo, if you have a specific question or you want me to just give a general overview of my time at SSM.
Yes, go ahead.
So yeah, as I mentioned, I already was living in Rome, so I am familiar with the language. Being in Italy, I love Rome. I think it's an absolutely fantastic place to live. As Paul had mentioned, it is very economic. I guess maybe from Paul's perspective, it's a little more expensive than Romania. From my perspective, coming from an up and growing city that's very expensive, a tech city now, as many of you know, Seattle. It's very economic for me, so it's great. It's great for me, and I think it's to compared to a lot of places that people may be coming from, it's a lot cheaper to live, generally. And then, like Paul said, just being in Rome is beautiful. I would say overall, my experience with SSM has been amazing. I'll start with just the fact that I've made friends with people from all over the world. There was only one other American in my program, and I wouldn't even really consider him American because he's German. He was raised in Germany. But so other than that, it was great. It was nice to be, with a bunch of colleagues, and nobody was from the same country or the same city. So every single one of us was from somewhere else, and it made us have a very unique and exceptional bond. And I think this is something that you can take from this program, not only as, okay, it's amazing to bond with people from all over the world, but this is how a lot of you are going to progress in terms of a job. A lot of you will eventually be working for international companies or start your own international company. So I think from that perspective, it was so cool to learn how to communicate with people from different places, and find a way to communicate that works for you, because communicating with one person is not going to be identical to communicating with somebody from somewhere else. So that was an exceptional skill, but I also just think it's important to diversify yourself, speak with people from different countries, from different cultures, who speak different languages. So that's my number one thing that I think is so unique about SSM. Overall, my professors were phenomenal. In fact, a lot of them have now become more of, I would say, even friends, mentors, people that I can rely on, that I can text, that I can email, or even call. People that I will send a text, for example, to Massimo the other day, telling him about something that happened as a success for me in my job now, and that was something I learned a lot while being at SSM that I wouldn't have been able to do without some of these courses. And then overall, just the level of classes. So it was a challenge for me. There were topics that definitely made me realize specifically which direction in my career I want to go. There were classes that complemented perfectly what I currently do for a living, and there were classes that really challenged me, that I realized, okay, this is a skill I'm learning in this class, but it's probably not something that I necessarily want to pursue. So it helped me really narrow down what my strengths are, also what my weaknesses are, and which areas I think would be complement my personality and my skills for a future job. I didn't mention what I currently do for my job. I currently work at an international school, a pre-kindergarten through grade 12, in Rome, and I'm their communications and development. So I do their website, their social media marketing, their graphic designing, all public relations and alumni relations, and organize events that go on here. So a lot of the classes, so particularly I'll say the leadership class, helped me realize the skill I have in leadership. And this year, it's been amazing to reflect on what I learned last year and compare the level of the ability I had to lead last year. I was much more timid. I wasn't sure and confident in those skills. And this year, I'm actually leading colleagues. You know, I'm helping them. I wouldn't say managing, but definitely leading teams in towards a direction. And it's been great to also see the impact of how that confidence has changed the vision of what my boss now sees me as, because now my boss completely 100% in 1 year trusts my judgment, trusts me to lead. And oftentimes, instead of me asking him, what should I do? I'll present to him resolutions to conflicts, or I'll present to him an idea. And he will say, I 100% trust your judgment, your ability to lead. Go get it, go do it. Some other classes that for me were particularly important and particularly relevant to my current job was obviously the marketing class. That also helped me realize that, yes, that's what I am working on currently, but it's also something that I would like to continue pursuing because I think it's something that I have a lot of skills and a lot of potential in. And lastly, I'll mention that the negotiating globally, that class was, I think, the class that I took away the most from. As I mentioned, I had just spoken to Massimo about a big I guess I would say achievement that I was able to, a big goal I was able to achieve this year, which was being able to ask for a raise. And so that's something that seems so basic, but I'll truly tell you, it's actually kind of terrifying when you have to do it. So I prepared a lot for that, and I took so much away from that class of skills, how to negotiate and how to recognize your value, but also declare your own value. That's something that I was never able to do before. I think that starts with being able to recognize your skills. And so I'll say that a very important thing that came out of this entire year for me was being able to recognize my own skills and believe in myself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to. And so it's just incredibly changed my life. It's kind of changed me as a person. And just made me much more confident, much more able to go forward in my career. And I think, yeah, I guess if Massimo, if you have specific questions, that's my overall kind of perspective of my year.
You did actually great things in that year. You developed as a person, as a specialist. You developed really as a manager, and I'm very proud of you of what you did. Let me see if there are some questions. Paul?
Yes, there is a question for me. So John Hayes asked, what is your business in what area? So I have my own business in nutrition and selling nutritional products. I have some free shops and building an online shop, like 10 employees. Plus I manage woodworking production in a company, and I have 7 employees under me there. I'm leading a team, not manage. Also,
more questions?
Maria Perez, do you require some years of work experience?
No, you don't. If you have, the better, because you can share and you can profit out of that work experience, but you don't. You can start the MBA program actually directly after your bachelor's. But if you have work experience, it's absolutely welcomed.
Okay, and John Hayes asks, is the MBA better for people who consider Italy as a country for living, or you have a good experience with candidates who go back to their home countries afterwards? My businesses are back in Romania. I'm coming here as a guest speaker. I have had only good experiences. I could apply, let's say, 75% to 80% of what I learned here back in Romania, especially the marketing, the leadership, the negotiation, because it's always a problem interacting with people, and especially the presentation skills and public speaking. Before this class, I've been terrified of speaking in front of more than 2 people. I swear to God.
If I could just tap onto
Yeah.
that and just mention, I think that it's very flexible for both. So if you don't intend on staying in Rome, I would say majority of the class has decided to either go back to their home country. Some have gone on to continue studies. Some have gone on to work in businesses in different countries that weren't their home country. And then I myself have actually stayed in Rome. For me, it made it very flexible and possible for me to convert my study visa to actually a working visa. So for me, it worked out very smoothly. But I think that it could work for both. If you want to stay here, that's a possibility. And you might find that you love Italy, you want to work in Italy. And if you want to go away, you also have the possibility to go back to your home country or pursue.
I think she had an disruption. So while we wait for
Yeah,
her to
let's go ahead.
reconnect,
Yeah.
there are 2 more questions from Liam
Sure.
Bond. How does the school support students in finding a job during their MBA and afterwards? And also, do you need to speak Italian before entering the program? And does it become important when searching for a post-MBA job and would like to work in Rome?
So we don't search jobs for the students because we will prepare you, we train you how to get a job. I can tell you that all our graduates got a job even before they graduated with the MBA program. So it's absolutely feasible. Part of the exercise is, how do I find the right job? We can show you how to do it, but don't expect from us to be placed, because that's part of the exercise. What was the other question?
And do you need to speak Italian before entering the
No,
program?
you don't need to speak Italian, because we clearly state on your confirmation letter, which the letter you go to ask for a study visa, that the program is in English.
And also, how important is Italian to find the post-MBA job in Rome? No, it's important to know Italian when you're looking for a job in Rome.
Well, no, excuse me. Knowing Italian language will help you, of course, but it's not necessary. We have international companies everywhere in Italy. You know, the Made in Italy is everywhere, and it's not mandatory. But you live in a country, you know, and if your future is here, you need to learn the language of the country. It will facilitate for sure, but it's not mandatory. More questions?
That's it for now.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Emma, we lost you for a second. Are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Ah, fantastic. Emma, how was it for you to find a job after you graduated?
So I actually found my job while I was a student at SSM, and it worked out really nicely for me because I initially was on a student visa. I can't speak for all student visas because I am American. I'm not sure what the rules are for necessarily every country, but generally on a student visa you can work part-time. So I was able to work 20 hours a week while I was a student, and that was perfect for me because I could transition into full-time work. So I started my job pretty closely around the time that I started SSM, and by the time I finished, I had learned so much that my current job offered me a full-time role and offered to help me with my visa process to get a work visa, a work permit. So I think for some of you who maybe your dream is to work in Italy, it's a really cool segue because you can start working part-time, and that's a way to get your foot in the door into an international company. Start working or do an internship or whatever it is that you're seeking, and I can guarantee that probably by the end of your time at SSM, the company you're working for or a similar company that you might apply for will probably offer you a full-time job. So that's definitely a possibility.
Thank you, Emma.
Okay,
Have a question?
We have 2 more questions. Maria Perez asks, also, shall we pass IELTS TOEFL, or you can evaluate the level of my English during the interview?
We evaluate the value of your English during an interview. That could be a phone call, it could be a Skype video conference. We do that because documents are just documents, but we want to talk to the people because a Swiss School of Management is a family, and we want to have the right people coming into our class and not just everybody. So don't worry, we'll make a phone conversation, we schedule a conversation, and we see immediately if it matches. Paul? Yes, Emma?
If I could just make a note on that, I would like to say to people out there who maybe English isn't your first language, or maybe you're nervous that you aren't at a level that SSM is looking for, I would say don't have any fears about that. Don't let that stop you from applying, because I think what Massimo is more looking for is our leaders, are people who have potential to grow. So that might not necessarily be somebody who's 100% fluent in English, but who has a lot of potential to become a great leader and can improve on that. And there were a few students who definitely weren't 100% perfect mother tongue English, but by the end of the program it was phenomenal to see how incredibly much they had learned English. So I think that that's something to note. Don't let that stop you from applying, because you won't know until you actually speak with Massimo and let Massimo evaluate you, because it's not just that. If that makes sense.
Definitely. Thank you, Emma.
So John Hayes asked if he should have a managerial experience before the start of the program.
No, you shouldn't. If you have it, it's the better. It helps, absolutely. You can profit out of that, but you don't have to.
Okay. And then there are Amira Kali. I'm sorry, I
Yes,
can't pronounce it.
Amira.
Do you have scholarships for international students?
At present, we don't offer scholarships, but if you compare our tuition fee towards other similar programs with similar accreditations, ours is very, very, very competitive. It's a real investment with a short return on investment.
And two more questions. Lion Bond, how important is the GMAT or GRE scores?
We don't care about the GMAT scores because we care about, do you have leadership skills? Are you ambitious? Do you want to make out of this opportunity? Do you want to make it out and come up with something totally new? Reaching new heights. So we want this hunger. We want to feel this hunger. Grades, they are only good in classrooms. Outside, there is another world. They look for personality. Companies look for leadership skills, and you cannot give grades on leadership skills. So let's see what's behind a person, not only grades.
Didi Alfard, what are the options to work and study online during this program?
The options are, and that's the good thing about the MBA program, most classes are in the evening. So every Monday, sometimes Wednesday and Thursday, classes start from 6 to 9. So they're all postponed in the evening. That will allow you to go for an internship. That will allow you to go for a job. Most of our students, they work during the day and then they join the class in the evening, and not over the weekend. Weekends are free because many of you will have family and other obligations, so you are free. That's why we structured the MBA program for the evening, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. More questions?
Yes, from Lion Bond. Can you comment on some startups that have started recently from grads? Any exciting projects? This I can.
Yes,
I can answer. I was saying about the business
startup.
No, business startup, the business plan.
Yeah.
So back in Romania, we have from European loans money based on business startups, and I wrote a very good plan for a data center, and I'm gonna get a non-refundable 40,000 euros loan. No, not loan, because it's not a loan. I don't have to give it back.
Yeah.
I get fully funded with 40,000 euros.
For a startup.
For just a startup and just for the business plan, because it was very correctly written, and now I have to implement it exactly how I've written it on the piece of paper.
Yeah, fantastic. And you can find actually more of those stories, on our LinkedIn page. There you can see we have, I think, more than 300 alumni that have linked their profile with our school, and they have their story to tell. So there are a couple of them have done great startups. Yes?
What is the school accreditation status? Which is the most popular major? Asks Ili Nacheva.
So those are our accreditation. Our main accreditation is the ICB and the EduQua. So the ICB is the American accreditation, which is made for college education and business education. The other one is EduQua, that only quality certified schools from Switzerland get this Swiss government quality certification. Then all the rest, is all there on our website, and there is a link where you can just click and see if our school is mentioned.
And the most popular major?
The most popular major is global management and leadership. This is actually the hottest one. This is the one that employers today are mostly looking for, because they look for leaders. That makes the difference. Specialists are good, fantastic for the topic, but if you want to be able to grow, lead people, leadership. Leadership is the hot key right nowadays. More questions?
No, I think that's it. Unless we get some more during the...
Yeah. Let me ask a direct question to Emma. Emma, do you think you're a leader?
I'm definitely a leader.
Wow, this didn't sound like this a year ago.
I think last year when Massimo asked me, I said I wasn't sure. But I can definitely say now, and it's like I mentioned before, it's reflected a lot in my work, but also in my life. I think this year has been a year of learning what leadership means, how to implement that. And as Paul mentioned, it's not managing, it's completely different. It's a different thing. And it can come in different aspects of your life, not just at work in your job. But you can see it play out in a lot of ways in your life. So definitely I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I know so, Massimo.
No, we went into so big discussions, and that makes really a big difference. And the good thing is, during this program, you get into a maturity process, there are so many people that would never think about becoming a leader or even aiming to become a leader. But this program was tailor-made for people who want to give the best out of them and reach the highest goals. So, and I can just warmly recommend you to start this MBA. Do we have more questions?
No, that's about it for now. If any questions, I will let you know.
Good.
So we can go on with the presentation.
So this is all from my side. Is there anything you would like to add, guys? Do you have more questions?
There is actually one, but it's more interesting. John Hayes asked, what is a good leader?
Oh, what is a good leader? My goodness. What is a good leader? Emma, would you like to say something?
Sure. So I would say a good leader is somebody, I think, first of all, somebody who is a good listener. So a good leader is somebody who is not only there to, run a project or implement something, but a good leader is somebody who's going to collaborate. So this is what makes the difference between a leader and a manager. A leader is somebody who's, for example, listen to their employees. So perhaps they're working on a project. They're going to want the input of their employees, and they're going to be able to unify those ideas and find the best solution in that way. It's not just a person who tells you exactly what to do and ask you to do things for them. It's somebody who wants to work side by side, and you'll see a manager versus a leader maybe in your current workplace, in your boss, how they communicate with you. I think a leader is also somebody who's willing to step up. So if there's something that's not easy to do, maybe there's something that you don't necessarily want to do, you're willing to step up and take ownership and take leadership to do that thing, even when it's not your favorite thing. Paul, maybe you want to add some things from your perspective of what makes a leader?
Yeah, as you said, to inspire, but I want to add something more to that. Usually in companies, people just go for the salary and that's it. They don't care about necessarily the company. They don't care about the role. A leader inspires them to want to also all work together in that company to make it something better. So even the, let's say, janitor is happy for the company benefits and is for every success of the company, takes it as his own personal success, because a company is the sum of all its people. It can't be just the CEO or just the CFO.
Mm-hmm. True. And don't forget, leadership, you need to see it from a eagle perspective. You don't need necessarily to have followers to be a leader. You can just be yourself by just doing the right thing that makes you happy. But to do that, you need to have a clear ideas in mind, a clear way in mind. What do I really want in life? What are my goals? And how do I want to reach my goals? How hard I'm ready to contribute and work to get to those goals. So many people, we look at them like role models. I have role models still. I'm almost 50 years old, but I have role models say, I wish I could become like him or like her. And still today, I find a list of things that I can get better and better to reach those goals. So it's a never-ending story. It's a never-ending exploration. It's a never-ending process of learning and learning. Do we have more questions?
Not at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Also, a leader works because he wants to, not because he needs to.
That's true. No, leadership is a very hot topic. Very hot topic. And that makes a difference when you go for an interview. They can hear immediately in your voice if you're a leader or not. Just imagine during an interview, in the first 3 minutes, they will immediately, they know immediately if they're going to hire or not. So give it a chance. Leadership has so much to do with yourself, with your personality, your skills, your strengths, And especially in September, when we do the Leadership 360-degree course, there we will just put down all those walls, in your mind, and we will start from scratch about the things you dream of, and the things you would like to achieve in life. And then we start from scratch building those big goals and get this thing done. Yep.
Martin Dimitrov asks,
yes?
When is your next intake and how long does it take?
So the next intake, as I told you, we have monthly intakes until April, but the main intake is always September. So you can join us actually anytime. And what was the second part?
How long does it take?
The intake?
Yeah. I think he's probably asking for the entire academic.
Oh, no. Look, from the moment you start, it takes you one cycle, so 1 year until you graduate. So if you start now in February, you will graduate next February. Our official graduation ceremony is always mid-September, but you're not forced to participate, but it's a fantastic event, and you want to share this fantastic moment with your families and with your family and friends. So intakes are all year round until April.
And Adriana Bruni, I don't understand the question.
Yes.
How is the opportunity for the LATAM people? I don't know what the LATAM is.
Latin America.
Latin American. Okay.
Oh, we got many Latin American students in the past. Absolutely. we welcome them because they're very intelligent students and they're very joyful, you know. So yes, 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 give it a chance.
Also, she wants to. She hopes she can begin in April, and if it's possible.
April is fantastic. That's the last intake we have then for 2000 for the first part of the year. Yes, you can start in April.
Okay, and for the moment, those are all the questions.
Yes. So April is fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I need the contact for all the admission process. You will show on the last slide of the.
Yeah.
We will put the contact on the
There we
presentation.
go. Here is the contact. Actually, you find everything on the website where you can download all the documents and send everything by email. Very easy. Just make sure you have scanned copies of your academic transcript of your bachelor's, have a recommendation letter from a former employer or faculty member, and a digital picture of yours. Good. Fantastic. And I would say we went through everything. What do you think, Paul?
Yes.
And
I think so.
I would like to come next to me.
1 second. Now a lot of questions are coming. It depends. Do we still have couple of minutes?
Yeah, well, let's answer those questions and then we end our session.
Okay. So do I have to come to Italy for the interview or is it online?
No, the interview is online, of course. My goodness, you don't need to come to Italy despite this fantastic idea. It's always a good idea coming to Italy. No, we do it online. We do it over the phone. Today we have the technology, so you don't need to come to Italy.
And another one, which this is
Yes.
be interesting. What about the international students coming from the Caribbean islands as Haiti, where I come from? Is there any process where we can apply for figuring out scholarship or funding for the tuitions?
Not as far as I know. There are for sure organizations that do some funding. We have also mentioned on our website, we mentioned some of them in the Apply Now. If you go under Apply Now, there are some organizations mentioned. And but from our side, there is no other choice.
Adriana, I will answer your question. Swiss or Italy, what is your recommendation? Of course, Italy. Come to Rome. It's exceptional. You will not regret it. You'll have the time of your life. You will learn more than you can believe, and also you will see more than you could understand.
Also,
go ahead.
Of SSM is right downtown. So if you want to experience Rome, this is the perfect way to do it because every evening when you have class, you'll be right in the heart of Rome in one of the most famous piazza of Rome, which is called Campo dei Fiori, if you want to look it up. So it's pretty spectacular. After class, we'll oftentimes go out to dinner together or hang out, and you're right in the center. So it's you definitely feel like you're in Rome, like you're in Italy.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's a fantastic place where we are. We're in a 600 years old building, you know, and it's just amazing. It's just the best part of the world where you can have fun, enjoy yourself. You're studying in the middle of an open air museum of 2,000 years ago, you know. So it's just really amazing. Do we have more questions?
No, that's it. Thanks so much, Adriano. It has been our pleasure.
It has been our pleasure. Emma, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I hope you guys are able to enroll in SSM this year or next year. I highly recommend it. It will definitely change your life and change your future. So good luck to you all. Thank you, Massimo. Thanks, Paul. And good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma.
Also,
Paul, thank you very much.
My pleasure. And I hope to see the new students when I come visit Rome next time.
I'm sure. And you did a great deal of contribution.